Hello, and welcome to today's webinar called Getting AI to Do Your AI through IBM Data Science Platform, IBM and Wipro partnership. This webinar is brought to you by Express Computer in partnership with IBM and Wipro. I am Govind Chaudhary, correspondent with Express Computer. In the intelligence era, we will need to embrace AI, machine learning, robotic process automation, and workflow tech to achieve more than ever required. Fueled by data, AI is transforming how business operate and deliver value while improving efficiencies across the organization. However, to successfully scale AI throughout your organization, you must overcome data complexity, talent scarcity, and a lack of trust in AI systems. It's also important to remember that there's no AI without information architecture. To meet the demands of today and stay competitive tomorrow, these architectures needed to be efficient and agile. An agile and resilient cloud native platform that enables clients to succeed with AI irrespective of their unique data and cloud landscape through capabilities such as ready access to data at its source and elimination of data silos. AI powered platform helping users by democratizing applications of AI and ML. But before we kickstart the webinar, I will read out some webinar information. This webinar is being broadcasted live and will be available as on demand. This is an audio-visual webinar. We will have poll questions in between. I request all of you to participate in the same. We will have a round of Q&A at the end of session. You can send in your questions using the Q&A text box and we will address the same based on time after the presentation. If you face any technical issues, please use the Q&A text box to send in your issue and we will try to sort the same to the best of our abilities. And lastly, if any of your questions are unanswered, we will connect with you over the email to answer the same. Also, a feedback form will open in your browser after the webinar ends. Please fill in the form. We would love to hear your feedback as it is very valuable to us. Now, I welcome our speakers, Mr. Rakesh Mehra, Segment Leader, Information Architecture, IBM. Rakesh Meher manages IA pillar, which is one of the two key pillars of IBM data and AI business. He is responsible for evangelizing the data-driven decision-making culture among the customers across ISA and is quite instrumental in scaling up the IA business to new heights. He has helped many state governments to set up master data management programs for their SRDH initiatives. He is also responsible for developing the partner ecosystem and helping partners developing new solutions on the IBM data platform. I also welcome Mr. Rahul Deshpande, General Manager and Practice Head Cloud AI Platforms Wipro. He focuses on advising clients on rolling out AI use cases for data science, hyper automation, and hyper personalization using EIQ and strengthening alliances in hyperscale cloud AI platforms. He previously worked as a global head of solution design for AI and engineering head of the Wipro Homes for business product portfolio. Over to you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Govind. Thanks a lot. It's a sheer pleasure to have this session with you all. I once again would like to thank everyone for taking out their time during this festive season to join our webinar. As you know, the message in this webinar is to let you know the art of possibilities through AI and how IBM has re-engineered the entire data and AI platform in involving the AI in delivering the AI results. So initially we thought that we would give you a complete, clean, clear understanding of the technology platform, but then we thought to make it a little fun-oriented activities. And we thought that let us show you the art of possibilities on the AI data and AI platform of IBM. And that is when we discussed with Wipro, and Wipro has developed a fantastic solution on top of the data and IBM's data and AI platform. And that's what today Rahul is going to talk about in this session. I would like to welcome Rahul. He's the General Manager, Cloud AI Practice globally in Wipro. And just to give a little kickstart and make it a little more engaging, can we have the first poll question so that it would set the course of the entire discussion forward?
Sure, sir. We'll have the first poll question.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is, here you go for the first poll question. How long does it take for end-to-end model development and deployment in your organization? You will have some 30 seconds to respond to this question. And we will tell you why we are asking this question, and also the surprise that what we are doing with our customers. Govind, so once the responses are ready, please hand over the baton to Rahul to start his session.
Sure, sir. We'll
Thank
just
you.
wait for the audiences to answer the question.
Sure.
I'll once again read the question. How long does it take for an end-to-end model development and deployment in your organization? The options are 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, or more than 12 months. I'll repeat the options. Is it 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, or more than 12 months?
Great. So there you go. And we'll tell you what we are doing with our customers. Over to you, Rahul.
Yeah, hi, thank you. Rakesh, are you able to hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
I assume everyone listening into the webinar and watching us is able to hear me. So thank you for that. And everybody will wonder, that AI for AI and what is this Rahul is going to talk about. So the AI for AI, how it was leveraged, how it is being leveraged by the IBM technology platform is just amazing. And Rakesh is going to go deep dive into it. But how do you use it? How do you put your AI, the whole 9 yards of AI, right from data to use cases, how do you put to use? And are there any examples? We thought it would be fun to show you. So today you'll have to bear with me for about 4-5 slides, and then there's a demo. So which will actually put together everything, in a nutshell for you to visualize. And then Rakesh will tell you how did we do it, right? So I'm going to show you an example of an AI-led personalized experience for consumer banking. But more importantly, you have to understand the theory behind or the motivation behind that particular example. It is what we like to call it as intelligent enterprise. Okay, and so this is where we are. So what is an intelligent enterprise? Of course, all the threads are leading to AI, but intelligent enterprise is something which uses the intelligence it gathers across its customers, stakeholders, everyone, and puts it to use. Just not gives you an insight, but drives a successful outcome. So that outcome, I will link that story a little later, but just bear with me for a minute. Those of you who are veterans in the IT like I am, when I started my career, it was Y2K, or put apps, ERP apps out together, which were churning data at a magnificent pace. Then that data was harnessed by technologies like ETL, etc., where information was gathered. The talk was 360-degree view of the customer. If you were in 2010 era, that's what everybody was worried about. Then came the insights. What could I best offer to the customer? Have you heard about that? Next best offer? Well, that's what the life in the data journey was at about 10 years back. 5 years back, it was all about insights, which was driven by next best offer and all that, but focus was insights. But now with AI, you are going to drive an outcome. You will say that out of my 40 million customers, which I have today, I'm going to take 1% of them and cross-sell my credit card. Can I do that? And can I use AI to do that? So these are the things which are coming to fore now. And thank God AI is here to save us. So AI is the new Superman. Okay. So basically leverage data explosion, harness the power, data diversity, and most important, look at a holistic approach. If you want your enterprise to become intelligent, you cannot look at point solution and put your money on a POC or a pilot and say that if that fails, AI doesn't work for me. Many of you would have seen that. Accuracy is not sufficient, but that's the problem. You have to look at a complete program to make it successful. So, and address change management, because folks who fear that AI will take their job are not going to help you. They're going to push you back. So the change management part is a very important part of it. So what does drive business outcomes mean? So it's about new revenue streams, hyper personalized experience, digitalized operation or hyper automation in your business process, and outcome shaping, Could you predict the revenue and also shape your revenue? These are the use cases which AI has done it, and Wipro along with IBM, we are all joined at the hip. We are delivering these kind of use cases now. So these are not POCs, mind you, these are actually, this is happening. So we will take one example here, a cliched example of festival time, Amazon.com or Flipkart.com or Snapchat or whatever.com, any website, shopping website. They know Rahul here likes to click the buy button on Saturday evening around 11 p.m. when everybody is asleep in the house and he's looking at some electronic gadgets. And they know it. And you know what? While I'm searching for my favorite gadget out there, there's a pop-up says, limited time deal, 10 minutes. If you click it, you're going to get 20% discount. So that's an example of how, it's hyper personalized offer I'm getting so that I'm tempted to buy. It also knows that's my routine time where I'm very comfortable pressing the button. My wife is not seeing me going to buy these kind of gadgets and all that. So this is a cliched example, but this is actually happening, and enterprises are putting, intelligence to use. So how do you infuse intelligence is a question. Also, how many of you would have received a phone call from an insurance company, a two-wheeler insurance company? Rakesh complains about it all the time. Like he has, his insurance has expired. He has renewed it on the website of the insurance company. But 1 month later, every day he gets a call from a telemarketer saying, sir, your insurance is going to expire. Your policy is going to expire for your two-wheeler. Why don't you renew it? I'm going to give you a 5% discount. So this is an example of a non-intelligent enterprise. So an intelligent enterprise goes beyond, and that's what we are going to talk today about, and how do we make it happen. So Wipro has developed one framework called Intelligent Enterprise Framework, and it uses, what you cannot measure doesn't exist. This is a quote from Max Planck, from the Planck Institute in Germany. So that's what he says. What you cannot measure, it doesn't exist. So what we put forth is, could I measure the intelligence IQ of my business process, whether it's a horizontal process like HR, finance, marketing, or it is my core business, like in banking, wealth manager, getting a prediction about how the S&P 500 is going to behave. Wealth manager is getting and customer churn notifications saying that talk to this customer of yours immediately, otherwise he's going to quit and go to a different wealth management thing. So these are the experiences, these are the intelligence which has to be embedded into your business process, and for that EIQ framework we have developed, and it actually works very simple. Any business process, we look at it at 5 pillars: sense, decide, act, interact, and adapt. Where sense is whether the information is structured, unstructured, internal, external. What is the quotient out there? So sense is a quotient, decide is a quotient, act is a quotient. So sense would be millions of invoices coming in, or millions of transactions in credit card happening. Am I able to look at that data in a structured manner? If not, then first I have to convert it using, again, AI, like various computer vision technologies. Once it is converted to structured, then I'm going to predict, decide which ones of those are fraudulent. Could be a credit card fraud or first party fraud by getting the human behavioral model all personified into a model, and actually looking at those million transactions and saying, what, out of this million, this 5,000 could be fraudulent, and let's stop that. So action is, let's act and stop those payments, those credit card transactions there and then. You would have seen that if you are in Orlando, Florida, and visiting Disney World, and you are actually getting your credit card is not been able to swipe because you are in implausible geography, very rule based, right? But something similar using AI is happening as we speak right now. So those are the, this is a little framework, exposure to the framework I just wanted to give you. That way you can say from 0 to 10, my HR processes are at 2.0 today in my company's HR process. My company's core business of, say, the credit card operations team is at an intelligence quotient of 0 to 10. They are at 2. Now, the fun part is, how do I infuse intelligence using IBM technology stack, etc., would come in 4. And that would be taking that 2 to, say, 7. And between the journey of 2 to 7, there are multiple use cases, AI use cases. If you were to convert them into productive, deploy them, then your intelligence quotient will go up. Because if you remeasure that using the same framework I'm talking about, you will find that it is every quarter by quarter is going up. Remember, it has to be a program. It cannot be a point solution. So I just wanted to give you a taste of how Wipro does it. How does Wipro infuse intelligence in a business process? In fact, in July 2021, we won an Hackett Award for digital transformation for AI in HR using exactly this framework, where we saved the HR department $25 million, a big number, but it took 2 years, but we did it. So these are the numbers we are talking about when you make your business processes intelligent. That's why it's called an intelligent enterprise, and that's why you need an EIQ to measure it. So we are now going to come back to those who are saying, Rahul, you are going to talk about the personalized experience, hyper-personalization. So here you are. So you can see in a customer experience, when they are, say, calling your contact center or they are logging onto your website, if you are, those of you are from banks, but this example is for everyone who's out here, for all of your business. So in a customer experience is very important. What we are doing is customer action is, there are ATM withdrawals, there are lots of actions happening with the customer. So that data is being generated, and later on Rakesh will talk about this data, how do you put to use? But first you have to structure and model it. So that part has been taken care. The touch points are, wherever the customer is, contact center, he's using a mobile app to do a transaction. Your customer is everywhere. He's creating certain events. So, and those events are in front of you. I'm not going to read out because of paucity of time. But with all of that information, I have actually understood and I've understood the persona of my customer and each individual customer. Okay, this data is generated in millions, but I'm able to look at it at a micro level, at each customer level, and generate an hyper personalized offer. So case in example, this is me, who's looking at his, he has logged on to the, through a mobile app and trying to find out where did my money go, so is he checking his checking account right now? And he's going to, is viewing and saying, why is my checking account balance so low? And this is a conversation interface, goes to the model, gets the information back and says, you know what, you have been traveling a lot. So if you're traveling a lot and these are the flights you have taken, so, don't complain that your checking account balance is low. But now the intelligent part of the question comes in. Okay, so I should get a good credit card to do that, right? For my travel and expenses, etc. So now this is an example of the customer is pulling in information because of the hyper personalized answers. He's going to get a question back, what exactly are you looking for in a credit card? So this particular customer is like me, he likes to travel and likes to dine out. So he's saying, okay, good restaurant offers and give me, good travel card. This is an illustration. So it is giving one brand of credit card has been shown based on the model which has been created, the hyper personalized model, and the products which the bank can offer. And this, by the way, is one of the largest bank in North America. This particular use case is actually going live. So this is not out of an imagination, but it is actually getting live. The beauty here is the hyper personalization at the customer level. So right from the mobile, the customer has signed up for a new credit card. So he's going to get all of the good stuff, all of the paperwork, APR thing, etc. And then this conversation can go on as long as the customer indulges you. So in this case, he's going to ask for an ATM, and he's going to get a Google Maps, the latest nearest ATM to where he is located on. So on and so forth. But I just wanted to show you how AI can be put to an action. What is the framework? There's intelligent enterprise framework, which I talked about. And the third thing, most important, the technology stack, whether it enables to let you do all of these things, not in 3 months, not in 2 months, but can it help you do it in 1 week? And that's the challenge where Rakesh takes over and he tells you, yes, it is, whether it's possible or it is not possible. Rakesh, over to you, my friend.
Thank you, Rahul. I could not have expected a more interesting and engaging session from you. Thanks a lot for this. And this is just a tip of the iceberg of the art of possibilities. So what you just saw is This is just one possibility what Wipro is successfully delivering to many of our collective customers across the globe. Now, you would say, what is there so interesting, so innovative with a chatbot? It's been there for almost last many years now. Now, chatbot, while there are many chatbots on the many boutique service and product providers, what is unique about what Rahul showed is an intelligent framework which makes your organization intelligent, more responsive towards customers with multi-channel integration, multi-channel messaging, and also mining a lot of petabytes of data, which is at your disposal, underutilized, right? So don't just think that, okay, if I ask a very simple question like, what am I spending more money? The chatbot will just throw a very dashboard kind of a view. If you have not trained that chatbot through different models, different data models, I'm sure Rahul talked about that, how their developers trained, or the organizations ought to train those models so that they would be more responsive. If I give you a very simple example, I'm a customer of a couple of banks, and what is pretty annoying is I'm not able to segregate my basic expenses. I have to do manual tagging. I don't need to do manual tagging. There are also banks who are on this platform where the statements comes with a pre-tagged definitions of my spending pattern. That allows me to have an insight on my spending behavior. Now, you imagine if you were in my shoes, or if you were getting that kind of a service, would you not pump in all your money to that bank so that you would get a 360 view of your spending? So instead of you banks spending a lot of money in acquiring customers in the form of increasing the interest rate, here, if you are providing that value to your customers, the customers will immediately jump into avail your services. You don't need to spend money by increasing the interest rate or doing several marketing campaigns, which might not give you results. This will certainly give you results because here your customers are getting insight, and that is how you are becoming intelligent. So just wanted to touch upon what goes behind the screen, and I'll unwrap it, peel it off layer by layer. So today, as the theme says, how we are deploying AI to deliver AI-based outcome to your organization. The platform on which Rahul's team have developed that is called Cloud Pack for Data. Don't get confused with the cloud term. For us, after 300 to 400 study with several CIOs and CEOs in various organizations across the globe, we have also realized that cloud means both on-prem as well as your cloud, the hyperscalers. So this particular platform is deployable both on-prem as well as on cloud, unlike many other hyperscalers where you can only avail the services on cloud. This particular one, you can deploy it anywhere. And that's the reason it's called hybrid in nature. And this is born in cloud. So as Govind made a statement during the initial starting phase of the session, that there is no AI without an IA. IA is what? IA is the information architecture, and that is called AI ladder. So there are 4 rungs. It was introduced in February 2018, where it is, by the way, industry-wide accepted concept of collect, organize, analyze, and infuse. This is how an organization matures gradually in the data maturity curve, right? And this is what has been the backbone of many of the architecture. But where is the problem? The problem is we only keep one rung at a time in our horse-blinded view. That results, of course, you get the best of the breed of the technologies and the OEMs into your organization. But then those are all disparate in nature, sitting in silos. So what is the collective outcome or intended outcome is to build models which would give you the results, right? I mean, probably after money, which is the most abused word in the world, AI is catching up with that. So now AI is the most abused term in the world, and AI means money. That's right. Organizations are delivering services to their customers. to what? They are not charities, right? So they also earn money there. Now, how will you differentiate yourself if you get this best of the breed, but you are not able to properly orchestrate it? And this is where they end up with. They do have the best of the solutions, best of the products, but then they are all intertangled in such a core to the core that it becomes humanly impossible to detangle it and then streamline it and make it simple. It's not at all possible. Keeping that in view, we actually, and again, to highlight one more example, when you try to deduce some outcome-based theories or some results or something, you're only seeing data from a couple of sources. You are blind to the rest of the data sources. I've spoken to many CIOs recently, to a bank who had already installed their data science platform on number one hyperscaler cloud provider, and then they were struggling to move the entire data to that cloud platform because of some regulatory challenges. And even if they moving that out from that environment is another $1 million cost affair. Okay, that's not the only thing. Now, if they move all the data there, how will you keep pace with the data which is getting generated at different touch points? So creating, crunching all these data points and then deducing something out of it is becoming a humongous challenge for many organizations. And that is the reason 60 to 70% of the data remains unused, because that is the architectural design. And this is my one of the favorite lines, that when an architectural design is harder to maintain than to use, it won't be used. So for the namesake, it is there, but you are not utilizing it. But the Rahul, when Rahul was showing that demo, do you think that the chatbot is not crunching the data from all the sources? If it is not crunching the data, that means it is not giving the right output. And that means that it is giving the wrong information. If I'm spending something on regular spending and that particular data is completely being overlooked or ignored because the data is not accessible or the data has not been fed to the data science model, then the very purpose of having an intelligent chatbot is defeated, right? So then there you go. When we are talking about money and AI, the stepping stone is the data science sandpit box, right? These days, my brother who is in US, he also aspired to be a data scientist because there is a fat paycheck associated with the data science thing, and it's a fashionable trend. Oh, and why not? It is something which involves a lot of gray matter there, right? But then, do you think that you are hiring data scientists to do the job of basic lifting of chairs and tables? I call that kind of a job. If you are hiring them by paying such a huge amount of money and asking them to clean the data, source the data from different sources, club it together, categorize the different kind of data. No, you are not hiring data scientists to do those mundane, basic set of jobs. When AI can do that, you use the data scientists for which they are hired for. Use their gray matter because they have developed their skill set. And that is the reason also why data scientists, they leave many organizations when they don't see such practices already established in your organization. So the fragmented data, short supply of the data science skills, variety of tools, IT standards. And I'll give an example, So this is my favorite example. So I was talking to this CIO down south in a bank, and I asked this question, that now how many number of data scientists they have? And he said somewhere around 10. So what, the annual outgo would be something in the range of 3 to 4 crores. Yeah, hesitantly he said yes. And then I said, okay, well, your CFO comes to you and says that, okay, you are spending, the annual outgo is around the tune of 3 to 4 crores. How are you justifying the value? What is that the output that you have given to us? Can you justify? And then that puts him in a spot. He finds himself in a pickle to answer that question, because it takes more than 3 to 6 months time. And I remember my first question in the poll question, that how much time does it take to build a model? You have answered yourself, right? The maximum of the part of the audience answered it takes around 3 to 6 months time. No, the customers who are using our platform, they are doing it in weeks, if not days. There are also customers who are doing it in days. They have developed that best practices. We are doing it with Wipro to many customers. Now imagine you standing in a race with them. How would you feel when you are thinking to launch a product? They would have already launched the product and acquired the customer. That's what I'm talking about, right? So this is what takes care of the burgeoning challenges in the data science field. The intelligent data fabric for fragmented data, simplified model ops lifecycle for short supply of the data, run any AI model anywhere, flexible deployment, as I mentioned, anywhere on cloud, on-prem, automated model ops lifecycle. I mean, there was one CIO in an insurance company who was asking, Rakesh, I'm finding it very difficult to justify the model output, the model explainability to my business team. The marketing team is saying, okay, based on your data output, I'm going to spend $20,000 running this marketing campaign. You got to tell me whether it's the right set of data and how you are achieving this set of data. So if your team is not able to explain why the data science model has given this output, the very purpose is defeated. Then another CIO complains that how do I maintain manage the outliers? How do I manage the drift of my models? I'm sorry, I'm giving you all the teasers because I'm going to explain to you, but then just to unearth all your curiosity and to tell you what are the challenges the prospective customers are facing, they are coming to us and we are providing them the solutions. So, and the trusted AI, very soon, the government is going to bring, or the RBI is going to bring the trusted AI regulations. So the AI output that you are going to give to your customers, is it fair? Is it not biased? How you're going to control the fairness of the output? So it will be regulated. If you are not on a platform like this, then it will be very difficult to control that. And there you go. The very first step in achieving all these things is through an intelligent data fabric. So Rahul, the way he was saying that how the team is making their organization, their customers intelligent organizations is because of such technologies. How a data fabric, this is probably being used widely in the industry of late, but it is a real data fabric if it is not there with you, which does not move the data, but touches the data, takes a snapshot, crunches it, and gives you the output. That's what I'm talking about. Irrespective of the sources, where it lies, we don't care. Irrespective of the technology, where it is residing, what it is using, normal RDBMS, structured, unstructured, JSON, any kind of data, real time. That's what the real data fabric is all about. And that's what we are providing much faster at half of the cost. So data fabric cornerstone is the cornerstone in the cloud pack for data. Why? Because it is intelligent data catalog. And again, whatever technology and components I'm talking about, it is all AI driven. There is an AI and ML engine underlying that technology, which is doing the job. So I remember this instance when I was sitting in front of a automotive CIO, and our technology was not mature at that time. I'm talking about 3 years back. And I was offering him a solution to do the auto cataloging of the business terms, not the auto cataloging, but manual cataloging, so that the data governance will be streamlined. And he told me that, Rakesh, if you do not have an automated mechanism to do the cataloging of the data terms, the data dictionary, then I'm not going to deploy people to do that. And you know what? Guess what? After 2 years, he's our customer. And we are doing auto asset cataloging, the business dictionary creation in the tune of 200,000, well under 5 minutes. That's what we are doing. We are virtualizing the data across different sources. We are defining policy-based data privacy, and it is again automated. How? Making the right data available to the right set of people at the right time. And then AI and hybrid cloud by design. This is born on cloud, so it is hybrid in nature, right? Now, this is the fun part which begins here. We are not changing the landscape. We are maintaining all those 4 rungs, but what we are doing is this. All those collect, organize, analyze, and infuse phase, we are bringing first auto SQL. You just simply throw this query auto SQL, and that will crawl across your system. And irrespective of the source of the data, as I mentioned earlier, will run the script auto-acclimatize itself with the nature of the database and collect the data, put you at your disposal. Cloud native warehouse. You can ramp up that warehouse. It doesn't matter the scale. Use the auto cataloging, the example I've already given you. The auto privacy. We have an engine called Data Refinery powered by Watson Knowledge Catalog, which does this particular job for you. It democratizes the data, but at the same time, with a touch of governance, so that the right set of data will be available to the right set of people at the right time. The data, suppose I'm not supposed to see a data, I will not be allowed by the system. Then the fun part, which is auto AI. And remember, I was telling you this example that how much time does it take to build models? Auto AI will build model for you within, by the time you just click the button, go back, brew a cup of coffee, come back, the model, the pipeline will be ready for you. And it is low code or no code. One customer had a requirement that we are regulators. We don't want to hire data scientists. Can we use this platform? I said, yes. You can, of course, there's no code data science model building platform is there. But at the same time, another CIO asked that, and he had a genuine apprehension that, Rakesh, if you are bringing this auto AI to build data science models, does it mean that all my data scientists will lose their job? I said, no, of course not. Because it doesn't matter how intelligent the AI becomes, it cannot beat the human brain. So these data scientists, they have come with years of experience. So our auto AI makes the model, then give it to them at their disposal so that they can unwrap the code. And this is one very important distinction that I'm talking as respect to our competition. You can save the model locally, unwrap the code, can save it, in fact, Python, Jupyter Notebook, or R, or SPSS. You can save it in any format. And then unwrap it, go line by line, and see where you can bring improvisation. So I told the CIO that, no, you don't need to sack all your data scientists. Rather, this particular platform will make them run like Flash, my DC comic character Flash. So they run that fast so that your return on investment will be maximized. So, and this becomes the bedrock for many organizations to modernize their data and AI platform. Many organizations think that I've invested millions of dollars on some legacy architecture. What should I do now? The beauty of it is we can coexist. So one customer has this data warehousing, and then, and this is a live example, by the way, one of the top banks, and they had the data visualization tools from Microsoft. And we said, we don't need to rip and replace the entire thing. You can simply take our platform, which is modular in nature, can coexist, and then you can virtualize the data. You don't need to increase the headroom of your data warehousing. You know what I mean, right? And for any ad hoc query, you don't need to increase the headroom in your data warehousing, and then feed that data virtually, not moving the data. Feed the data. Remember my data fabric architecture diagram? Feed the data to your visualization layer, and they are saving 2.5, 3 crores money every year by adopting this platform. So this is the length and the breadth. The reason why we are unique, because you compare with many other industry prominent players, they don't have the data governance solution in place. They are dependent on other OEMs. Even if they are hosting it, still you have to manage 3 or 4 different technologies. In our platform, starting from collect phase to the data governance, to the data analytics, to the infusion, all these are available from a single platform with a single licensing matrix. And the icing on the cake is why we acquired Red Hat Openshift. The reason is because it is a microservices-based architecture. So the entire thing will be orchestrated on Red Hat Openshift. You don't need to buy separate licenses for Red Hat Openshift, and some base services will be there on top of it. And then you can build any kind of data and AI services you want to cater to your requirement. You can unlock new insights, and you can deliver trusted and business-ready data. You can unify the data across any clouds. You have data on Azure, you have data on AWS, you have data on your on-prem. You can access all the data by simply throwing an auto SQL. You can build model simply by relying on auto AI. It is not like the model factory from other OEMs. It is a true auto AI which does the not only the data categorization, data classification, it also does the feature extraction. Very important thing. And very complex feature extraction it does, which takes a lot of time. That's the main culprit of why model building takes 3 to 6 months time. It does feature extraction, and then it applies those intelligent modeling technique, like regression modeling, gradient booster, random forest. It decides by reading the data patterns. The one insurance, and in fact, I take a lot of pride in saying that one CEO of an insurance company got so excited, she involved in the process of this entire deployment and development because it was so easy to learn. He said, okay, I want to learn the skills. I don't know whether I'll be CEO next in my stint, but this skill is very important for me, so I need to learn this. And she learned it in no time. So you can unleash the entire data science productivity by utilizing this platform. And it can be deployed, as you mentioned, as you can see here, anywhere. You can build data warehouse, you can build data lakes, you can do real-time data ingestion, you can have database hosted on this, you can do any number of things. So, in a nutshell, aligning with the messaging in the entire theme of the webinar is how we are deploying AI to deliver the AI. This is all what you are doing on the left-hand side that you can see. The auto AI, auto privacy, auto cataloging, auto SQL, which takes a lot of time, costs you a lot of money. It takes care of that. So if you are, doesn't matter the size of your company, if you're a small company, big company, you can start small, very affordable. You can start small, you can deploy it on AWS, you can deploy it on Azure, you can deploy it on on-prem platform, and start doing it. You don't need data scientists also. And even if you're a data scientist, they can save a lot of time there. I'm going to touch upon briefly on the architecture of it so that it becomes clear. And so far, my friends, whoever is there, not able to understand what Rakesh is talking, very interesting things, but I'm not getting a head and leg. What exactly is this? This is sounding like a mirage in the middle of a desert, but what is it exactly? This is the product. You just need to buy one licensing line item. That's it. IBM has learned. They have simplified the entire offering. You just need to buy one single licensing metric. What Rahul can endorse. Rahul, when they delivered this solution to the customers just bought one single licensing from IBM. And then Rahul's team worked on top of it by delivering their state-of-the-art practices and experiences and delivered that to their customers. So this is an architecture which is basically a data platform architecture. Whatever you are seeing here on the left-hand side to the right-hand side, everything available on a single platform. And remember what I was talking about, we can coexist with any of your existing investment. Suppose you have a data warehousing, okay, here you have a data warehousing deployed already. You are struggling to get the data in a real time and feed it to the visualization layer. And there you have Microsoft Power BI. Here you have maybe Sybase IQ or Amazon Redshift or something like that. You can still use our data virtualization services to access data from any of your sources, get the data snapshot, and then feed it to your visualization layer or your data science layer. I have here 3 data science musketeers. I'll take 2 minutes time in explaining that. So anything you can put it here. So point is, it is highly modular in nature. It can coexist. And these are the products that you are entitled the moment you buy this. Suppose, for example, you're buying 48 cores from IBM, and that 48 cores gives you the entitlement to any of these, bearing few add-ons, which are their highly specialized point solutions, like trade finance or safer payments or some discovery for unstructured data. But the rest of the entitlements you are getting within that 48 cores. And suppose today you are doing data governance activities to do auto cataloging, which doesn't need to be a 24/7 job. You can do it in a batch process. So you bring down that service and bring up the data science platform here and start building models without coming to IBM for buying additional licenses. That's the beauty that I'm talking about here. Now, this is I give an example. My son is asking me to buy him a truck. I have two options. Either I'll go to the shop and buy a big truck for him. He will play, he'll have a good time running over my my entire body. And then again, after 2 months, he will come and say, Papa, I need another bike or a helicopter or a tank. The other option that I have is go back to the shop, buy him a Lego building box and teach him how to build a truck. So next time, he's not going to come to me. He is going to dismantle the truck, build an aeroplane, build a helicopter, whatever he wants. This is exactly what the analogy here. Once you take this, instead of being relying on many other multiple vendors, you can simply bring up the services. These are all microservices. What are the laundry list of services products we had, and the length and the breadth of the products that we had for every use case, we have now converted into a cloud native architecture, a microservices architecture, and providing this as a service. So you are entitled for everything, whatever you want. That's the beauty of it. And the length and the breadth with which we have integrated with open source, I already gave you an example. The output of that data pipeline of models, which you get from what's in Studio, which is an auto AI, you can save it on any of the open source language without the need of a wrapper. Our main contender in the industry, they need a wrapper called SWAT. You don't need a wrapper here. You want to work natively on any of the models, you can work without the need of a wrapper natively on any language. These are some of the screenshots just to increase your curiosity.
Rakesh, I wanted to interrupt and say the previous slide looked very complicated, but those of you will use it. It's very intuitive, drag and drop, and I think the screenshots are speaking for themselves. I mean, this is pretty in detail, but the next slide which you showed, it is very, very intuitive. So I will leave it at that.
Thanks, Rahul. This is exactly what you get to experience in a tool. So before I move further, I have another 5 minutes left. Govind, can we have the third poll question there?
Sure, we'll launch the poll.
So what are the challenges in adopting AI ML? So you have multiple choice options, of course, and choose your options as you feel appropriate. While you are choosing, this is what we have seen with many of our customers because of the skill set gap. One example that I already gave you, or they're not able to understand what the black box doing, the data science platform doing, because they can't unwrap it. In our case, you can unwrap it. Can you trust the model, what it is giving? Because the moment you're not able to unwrap it, you're not able to see what it is doing for you, then you are clueless, you're blind. Does it give you the agility with which the fast forward way, the fast track way to build models? So you can do all these things. You can choose your options.
I'll read the poll question again. What are the challenges in adopting AI and ML? The options are skill gap, lack of ML transparency, trust factor, and agility. I'll say the options again. Skill gap, is it lack of ML transparency? Is it trust factor or agility? I request our audience to participate in the poll, and I think we have got the results.
See, I was about to give an example, Rahul. This is so such a coincidence that it also helps Rahul's team to deliver the project quickly. Because to deliver such projects at scale, you also need skill. Now, the moment you deploy AI to do this mundane set of activities and tasks, you also get the project delivered in no time. Correct me, Rahul. There, right? So this is one of the advantages that you get here by adopting such a platform. So these are the couple of screenshots that you get to experience. Anybody wants to go deeper can reach out to us for a demo, or my colleague Nishant is there. You can drop in the chat box. You can also implement responsible AI if you are getting a mandate from your CIOs in implementing responsible AIs. You want to see how you want to, and you want to also see how to control the drift of the model. What Rahul was saying, that the moment the data is being fed to the chatbot, for example, more and more data is coming behind the screen to that chatbot core engine, the models, right? And if you are not able to figure out those outliers who are skewing the model, then your customers will start getting funny responses. Okay, I still remember this response I got from leading airlines sitting in the airport trying to book a cab using their chatbot. And in Mumbai, they're saying that they don't have a cab available in the Mumbai, when I can see there are a lot of cabs outside. You don't want to create a customer experience like that, right? That is where you can need to control the drift of your models. And then you need to ensure the scalability, deployment, and the governance. And deployment reminded me another example that many of the CIOs and CTOs and head of data scientist department, they struggle to deploy the models, create the APIs. Here in our platform, you can deploy the models, whether it's real time or batch scoring. You can deploy it in seconds, literally in seconds. I was initially also got blown away when I saw the demo for myself. And you can literally deploy it in models. You don't need to go and beg for a separate space from anybody. The project space will be there inside this platform. You can deploy, you can see the scoring and can go for. And you also can provide the API links for the downstream applications to consume. So in a nutshell, Cloud Pak for Data also is provided as a services, managed services. Then we also have appliance for smaller to bigger organizations who wants to just plug and play. That is also possible. And this is one of the use cases that I was talking about, a CEO who got involved in the MVP program. And the idea was to increase the sales forecast, which became a holy grail for her. And it started with the hyper customer segmentation, which Rahul was talking about. What credit card should I provide so that it will be a true transactions with the customer. It will be a successful customer onboarding. If you come up with an insight, how will you come up with the insight? If you do the research segmentation, you boost the client engagement, you personalize the offer, and then it will automatically save money for you. So this insurance company wanted to deploy the BDM with similar mindset, similar background to a customer in Gujarat or Ahmedabad, so that the probability of conversion will be highest. And that's what we are providing to our customers. Some of the global references, this was in India, some of the global references we have here who are doing some wonderful job with leveraging our platform. Nonetheless, this is our recognition, and this is very important. Enterprise Insight platform. Many of these competitors, maybe number one or maybe number two in the respective AI, ML, or data integration, or simple sense individual components. But what makes Rahul's job easier and more commendable in front of his customer is an insight platform, not individual components. If you do not have an insight platform where you can draw insight out of your data, the very purpose is defeated. Doesn't matter what state of the art tools you have at your disposal. And then, some of the accolades, some of the recognitions industry-wide from Forresters and Gartners of the world in IDC. That's what I'm talking about. We can share this. What is the kind of money, right? You remember money? Data science means money. How much money customers are saving there. Some total economic impact report publicly available. And this is why we are better, why IBM Cloud Pak for Data is better. I'm going to park it here because this is my last slide. Let you read this while we spend some more 5 minutes time in answering if there is any questions. I'm sure Nishant and your team, Rahul, must be answering on real time to all the questions, but happy to answer if there is any question. Thank you. Thank you very much. Govind, let us know if we have any questions from the audience.
Sure, sir. We have a few questions from the audience.
Sure.
So the first question is, how is model explanation handled in OpenScale AI?
Yeah, so I gave this example. It understands the different affecting parameters. Suppose you want to launch a targeted campaign for an age group of 30 to 40 in a specific Wadala region in Mumbai. Now, the marketing team wants to do that targeted campaign, and they ask you the data points, which are the customers to reach out to, and you give the result, but you are not able to justify why. and how it is being done, then why you are not able to do that? Because you cannot unwrap the code. The moment you cannot unwrap the code, you don't know the affecting parameters, which are actually affecting. So in our tool, it shows the feature extraction, the feature engineering. So these are the columns leveraging which it has deduced these outcomes. And then in a plain English language, it can give you, which is a one slide deliverable to your marketing team. I'm just giving one example there. So you can take the entire screenshot of the slide, which is an output of the tool, give it to as a wrapper, as a gift wrapper to your marketing team and say, this is the explainability. Don't come to me about asking why this model, because you are getting all the explanations here. So this is how our tool does it. If anybody is interested in knowing a little deeper into this, we can arrange a demo for them.
Right. I'll move to the next question.
Yeah.
What frameworks do you support from a data science perspective?
Okay, so if I understand that from a language perspective, we support Python, we support Jupyter Notebook, we support R, and SPSS also. And the regular, once you see the demo, how the auto AI is coming into action and how it is leveraging the data, initiating with the data categorization, then data classification, then feature extraction, feature engineering, then modeling technique applications, you will understand what I'm talking about. But as far as the openness is concerned, if you have already developed a model on, say, for example, Python, you can also onboard that as it is on our platform and can start working on it. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel there. Your entire work is not gone. Whatever the assets you have already created, you can onboard it and can start using it.
Right, sir. We'll take the last question for the day. What are the business problems you feel AI can solve in your organization?
I think Rahul is best equipped with the fundamental building blocks to answer that question.
Yeah, I would love to say everything, right? But that would not be, we are still in the hype thing where now, to give an example, 3 years back, our clients would have only budgets for proof of concept, and they would do n number of proof of concept, and it wouldn't go into a production. The AI models wouldn't go into production because whatever reasons, they were not accurate, or some hesitation was there, change management, etc. But now we are seeing they have been piloted and deployed in production, and you're reaping benefits. So I talked about all of the functional, your functions like marketing, finance, HR. In fact, if you search for in Google, in your browser, if you search for Hackett Digital 2021 Hire to Retire, so you will find Wipro has won an award on automating using AI entire onboarding of an employee, hire to retire, and the separation rather, complete, where there are documents, unstructured data, different kinds of proof of ID, mark sheets, mark card, everything has been souped into this system, information extracted, and decision making happen, and action being taken. What action in a hiring scenario? Offer letter being generated for the employee. So end-to-end HR process. Marketing, we have got just too many cases. In time is not there, but marketing is example. You can have a supermodel like Aishwarya Rai coming in commercial video. You can actually detect and take a legal release form from her signed because you have used her video image in your commercial video. And this is not a hypothetical example. We are actually doing this for an US-based customer. And where we are we're training our models with all the repository of models, logos, etc., which a company used in their marketing assets. They're comparing them using computer vision, but these are different kinds of models. So those are example. Another one, finance, the revenue prediction. The world's one of the best jeans company is actually using our revenue prediction model to solve we're 2 quarters from now, what will be my revenue would be, like the sales forecast he talked about earlier, Rakesh. So that's an example in the finance domain. Core business, manufacturing. A big German tire company came to us and said, you know what, we are having a lot of wastage, apex, in our tire manufacturing process. Could you solve this problem for us by using AI? And we did use it. We did use deep learning networks like convolution neural network, and we actually solved those problems for the customer. So core business problem or horizontal problem, if you have the data, and that's why IBM's cloud for data pack, data fabric, Rakesh was mentioning about, is very important, because then if you have the data, you can train your models and you can solve that business problem. I will urge you to ask those questions, what specific business problems you're having, and we will return back, reply with you to you, telling how you can go about it. That's why that EIQ, Enterprise Intelligence Quotient, which I talked about, the framework is very important to be applied, which is set of questionnaires, which we ask you, your answers tell us like where you are in that journey and how we can help you solve that problem. So yeah, all kinds of business problems, core business problem or support business problems, both can be solved by AI if your data is with you.
Right, data is very important. If you're not extracting the value out of your data by using the data fabric without spending a lot of money, then you will get an advantage, and you will not let your competitors outrun you in the race.
Well, that was the last question we had. I encourage our audience to send more questions using the Q&A tab. Meanwhile, I'll go back to Mr. Rakesh and Mr. Rahul for their final comments. Over to you, gentlemen. Any final comments?
Sure. Rahul, you want to do the honors?
Well, it's always a partnership with technology, the customer, and an SI partner like Wipro, which works together. And the experience as an SI partner brings it. It works with multiple customers for very similar use cases. You may feel my use case is unique, but trust us, we see this in different customers. And yes, it is unique. Your data is unique, but your use case would not be unique. And that's why you need a partner like Wipro and an IBM to come together to solve your problem. So remember, Wipro, one of the second best company in India to work for data science, as per Analytics magazine of India. We are the second best company and first only in the SI world for data science. So if you enjoy data science, if you enjoy AI, and you want to work with cutting edge technologies like IBM, Wipro is the place for you.
Right. And just to sum it up, what the collaboration that can bring to your table in terms of value is the value of the experience, the value of the core R&D on technology, and fusing it together with the talent and the skill set. So that analytics is an outcome-based platform, right? And it's an insight platform, and these customers are looking into outcome-based results. So once you are taking Wipro and IBM on board, then you don't need to worry about your analytics landscape anymore. You focus on your core set of work, your core job, whether it is banking, telecom, your manufacturing, retail, healthcare. You let us worry about that, and we will give you those outcomes developed on this insight platform in no time. Thank you very much for joining the session. We appreciate your time. Looking forward to hear from you. Thank you.
All right, sir. With this, we come to the end of this webinar. Thank you so much, Mr. Rakesh and Mr. Rahul, for sharing your insights. Thank you, audience, for sparing your valuable time for the webinar today. As mentioned earlier, a feedback form will open in your browser after the webinar ends. Please fill in the form. We sincerely appreciate your valuable feedback. And if you would like to get in touch with IBM or Wipro team, the details are on your screen. Till then, take care and stay safe.